darling Arna. When the ship crashed, I half wondered if life as we knew it would collapse in on itself as well. It seemed like the pressure of the ocean surrounding us was pressing through the ship's hull, and I wondered how any of us would find a new way to keep going on.
This is Halibut, an incredible game that truly should be classified as genuine art, and it took over a decade of hard work to realize. The team at Slow Bros painstakingly handcrafted every character, texture, and surface you'll see during your 12 to 15 hours of playtime aboard the generational ship, the Fedora. The Fedora is a gorgeous and labyrinthian place to get lost in, a system of tubes leading to all sorts of places of interest, the Lab District, where Harold resides, overseen by the curt and impatient Dr. Moreau. Then there's the Agora Arcades, the Fedora's main activities district, with an array of shops, a bar, a winter sporting goods store, and a stage for some impromptu interpretive dance, featuring the game's director dressed as a mime no less.
Actually, I did kind of make a mistake.
We all make them, Harold.
It's a delightful place to explore, and running on my OLED. It's often stunning to look at, albeit in an unconventional way. Halibut doesn't scream realism or the latest in graphics tech in the typical way, but I would challenge you to find a game that looks quite as real as this one. The effort the team at Slow Bros have put into the game has truly paid off, and my god, the number of screenshots I have taken in my 15 hours with the game beggars belief. The gameplay itself in Halibut is simple, and unfortunately in some ways it's almost too simple. Playing as Harold, you'll walk around completing various chores, fetching and carrying, and importantly, engaging in conversation. Conversation is everything in Halibut, and is carried by an excellent voice cast of wonderfully quirky characters, with all sorts of backstories and tales of their own. The biggest problem I had in my time on the Fedora was that it all just took too long to get going, and the repeated back and forth nature of Harold's day-to-day meant that just like Harold himself, I began to question the purpose of it all, and for many, monotony may set in. Harold tracks his messages, information, and the all-important to-do list in his PDA, which can be accessed at any time. Everyone on the Fedora seems to treat Harold as a bit of a dog's body, and he will be pushed from pillar to post on all sorts of tasks. Cleaning graffiti, fetching samples, asking other people for help. That PDA will be filled with all sorts of messages and tasks, and in a spot of fun, Harold sketches of the various people he interacts with day to day. Halibut has been a long time coming. The first game from developer Slow Bros took 14 years to develop, as I said before, owed entirely to its handcrafted claymation art style. It's a striking visual style, but the characters that inhabit the claymation world are never given as much care as the painstaking manner in which they're rendered. Halibut players are put in the shoes of the titular Harold, a lab assistant who mostly gets treated like a janitor aboard the Fedora, a spaceship now submerged underwater on a poisonous planet. 250 years ago, worried that the Cold War would destroy Earth entirely, the All-Water Corporation built the Fedora as a life raft meant to preserve humanity on a new planet. While being stuck underwater wasn't the original plan, the citizens of the Fedora have carved out a simple life for themselves. At least it's better than getting nuked into oblivion on Earth, right? Through the various conversations you'll have with your fellow Fedorans, you'll gradually peel away at the layers surrounding the game's central plot, namely escaping the clutches of this deep ocean, but to give you more than that would be spoiling things. Regardless, conversation is the only real way to progress, with particular moments punctuated by simply going to bed, the all-water system conveniently deactivated at just the right moment. There's not much in the way of puzzles to solve, or any real variety in gameplay for the majority of the game. There are occasional moments where the game gets really creative. At one point, you're tasked with emptying a storage room, and I have to admit, as I walked packages down to Harold's bedroom over and over, I started to get increasingly bored. Lo and behold, the game suddenly presented Harold's room in portrait, with me dropping packages into almost Tetris style. Halibut is a game of two halves. The first is a staggering achievement in art and design, with some of the most sumptuous, unique, and jaw-dropping visuals in gaming since Cuphead. The second half is far harder to define. There's a lot of repetition and a serious lack of pace. The game is deliberate and meandering, filled with conversations and busywork while you pull at the broader narrative threads, and there's a big part of me that feels that several hours of the early game should have been left on the cutting room floor. Regardless, it's a spectacular singular vision and premise, and utterly unique, and I love it for that. Unfortunately, because of Halibut's repetitive gameplay and limited characters and locations, the visual spectacle quickly loses its luster. In just a few hours with the game, I saw all it had to offer, and then it became as mundane as life on the Fedora must be. It's regrettable that this beautiful world doesn't contain a story that makes you want to live inside of it for as long as possible. Because what's Slow Bros? has accomplished is unquestionably a stunning visual achievement. Whether you'll enjoy your time with Harold Halibut and the various Fedorans you will meet really comes down to what kind of person and gamer you are. If you enjoy deeply narrative games where the focus is more on story and a sense of place, with a very simple gameplay loop, then you'll fit right in and I suspect come to adore your time aboard the Fedora. If you're expecting more action and puzzles, then boy, you might bounce right off this one once you finish gawking at how pretty it all is. My advice? Take it slow and enjoy every moment with this bizarre and eccentric cast of characters. Names like Harold Halibut don't come around very often. So, what are your thoughts? And what you think about this game? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gaming updates. Until next time, happy gaming.